Hi, welcome to another episode of Lettering Speak. Today's episode is episode 6, and I'll be talking on financial power. And of course, when you hear financial power, the first thing that comes to your mind is your ability to be able to make financial decision without thinking about what the fallout would be. Whether you're booking a trip or trips or starting a business, you just know that financially I'm secure. Whether I pay for 6 months, 7 months ahead, I'm still secure. And I feel like the real game changer is when you see money as a tool for your freedom, but not as a burden. But like the way I see financial power is that it's a very, very delicate, not all delicate, I won't call it delicate, but rather I would say it's a double edged sword that it provides security and freedom. At the same time, it also feel greed, manipulations, a very deep in circle within your circle, like there's this financial what should I call it? Maybe like an inequality within your circle or even systems, really. And the impact that financial power has is never the same for everyone because, again, there is level to this shit. It all depends on the kind of money you have. So if you understand that it's it can influence people in positive way, then you are one of the lucky ones that you use your own financial, your wealth, your power to influence people positively. It means you are one of the lucky ones. It means you can navigate your relationship, your career choices, your social circle, the social norms with a very level-headed approach because as you see money so, it is evil only when you misuse it because you've seen money as a tool and you didn't see it as a something that defines your self-worth or your life. Now I want you to watch this video for like a minute and then we'll come back and discuss it.
If you're a man of genuine capabilities, your woman can't help you with anything. She can't pay your bills. She can't protect you. She can't fix your problems. She can have a mental breakdown. She can add bills, sure. But besides giving you a child, she can't give you anything at all. There are some men out there that perhaps need emotional support from girls. More fool you. I'm glad I don't. Got in trouble. I wouldn't call my wife. I'd call my brother. Or I'd call my male friends. Or I'd call my head of security. My wife would be number 150 on the list. Because what the is she gonna do? All she's gonna do is get worried and panic and then make it worse. She can't help me with anything. She's not my ally. She's not my best friend. She's not my advisor. I mean, there are some men who do that. And they're because real men aren't doing that. Do you think Putin, when the war started, called his wife? No, he's calling his head of national security.
Yeah. Now, I know men can be very territorial and often they have a very strong desire for control because it's in their nature. However, this particular individual it's not just about territorial for this person. This person embodies pure misogyny. Like many people would think this way. Many men would think this way. Many people would think this way. But this guy, as he speaks with unchecked confidence, like treating women as a commodity rather than partners. And what makes it worse is that his financial power has shielded him from accountability for so long that it has allowed him to it has allowed his harmful views to spread widely and unchecked. You can see the impact in the comment section. You see gender conflict, you see division, you see people that are misguided and misguided validation, okay, from those who don't realize that this guy is speaking from a place of what? Financial privilege, not truth or wisdom. And to be clear, I'm not saying that him being wealthy itself is the problem. It's just how he wields it to push his own personal bias narrative. Because for so long, this dude said so many things, but he has so many followers that they don't understand that how he views women, how he applies male masculinity is very, very toxic. And people don't really think about the financial part, what privilege it is to be financially secure, to have financial power. His financial status has made him lack empathy. Yeah, empathy is what I'm looking for. And if we're being real, is arrogance just suggests a deeper personal wound, like probably from childhood or adolescence? But honestly, I don't really want to go into that. I just want to people to start thinking critically and see things differently. The difference between this is that you have men that are just ignorant. I just want to follow suit with this dude. Oh, he's whatever. All for men masculinity. And again, I don't have a problem with men masculinity. And but I know that on the other side, there are self-aware men that saw through his rhetoric, right? They recognize that his words stem from a false sense of superiority that is fueled by what? By wealth and not genuine masculinity. Unfortunately, as I said earlier, many men, especially those that are struggling with their own financial or personal insecurity, they do what? They mistake. The mistake is mindset for strength and adopt it without realizing it does not apply to their lives at all. And before anyone argues that is simply advocating for masculinity, I fully support healthy masculinity. I beg. This life is not that serious. What I don't support is toxic masculinity in any form. His influence is so damaging, especially to the young men shaping their views on women and relationships. You now see kids start talking about, oh, women are supposed to this, you are this, that. It's really damaging. And personally, if a man in my life, in my circle, openly supports this kind of ideology, I immediately see it as a major red flag because aligning with toxic aligning with is a quite a tongue twist. Aligning with someone that is very very toxic, especially when it comes to gender dynamics, it speaks volume about that person's character. And honestly, it's a red flag for me. It's a red flag. Now, let's talk about how decision making in a relationship, or a person's character. Now, like before people start going crazy about the things I'm saying, I just want you to understand that I believe that while a man has the right to make decisions, there are certain matters that requires not consulting his wife, which is something that he was referencing. Not because she would control him in any way, but because we are wired differently. Because we tend to be very, very emotional. Because we're emotionally aware. And we are also very, very protective. And because of that, we can bring a lot of valuable decision to a valuable sort of like a balance when we're making decision. And we all know that it is important for us to understand that a strong relationship thrives when both partners understand each other's strength and weakness. So they know that, oh, my kids, my job, my working hard, hustling hard. You can tell what your partner's strength or weakness is. For example, if I have a medical emergency, I would not call my mom first because she tends to panic. It's a nature. But if I need a perfect recipe for food that I want it to taste exactly like hers, she is my go-to person. It's just the way. It's just balance. It's about knowing who to involve in different aspects of your life. Sometimes it might be your friends. Maybe you messed up or you want to approach something. You might reach out to your friend, not because your wife is incapable. It's because you understand our strength and our weakness. you know Now let's look at financial power from a very different angle. Like we know, like some men, especially those with wealth, they tend to believe their money gives them authority. For example, if I have a medical emergency, I wouldn't call my mom first because she's going to panic. But if I need maybe financial advice, that I don't want to discuss with my husband, that I don't want to have with my friends, if I want to talk about maybe advice or situations at work, or if I want to taste, a food, food that tastes exactly like hers, something about a perfect recipe. She's my go-to person. And it's really about knowing who to involve in different aspects of your life. If you choose to involve your friend, if you choose to involve your colleague, it's not because you think your woman or your man is weak. It's because you understand their weakness and you know their strength. Now let's look at financial power from a different angle. Like, excuse me, some men, especially those with wealth, because as I said, there is levels to this money past money. They tend to men with men or women really, because money past money, right? They tend to believe that money gives them authority over everything. Or maybe they are because they come from wealth, they can control their husband, they can control their wives, including again women, because women do it too. You see them making bold on check statements about relationship, gender roles, and really control about everything. And I feel like the issue isn't just their financial power, it's just how they use it. Because wealth, when you have wealth, when you wield it irresponsibly, you can strip people off of it can strip people off of being able to relate to other people, like empathy, as I said earlier, making them arrogant and disconnect from reality. So that's how you see women, they miss on certain things. You see men miss on certain things because they feel like they have that financial power to do things, but it's just different for people. So just understand that someone's someone's mindset is always fueled by their financial power. It shapes a person's mindset, their behavior for money and morals. And if you think about people's upbringing when it comes to money, the lasting impact is okpogon. And there's a saying in my well, it's not a saying in Yoruba really. I actually heard my sister insult someone. She said that ẹni tó bá fi tọ́ ìṣe ẹni tí ó bá fi tọ́ ìṣeré kékeré ó máa ń hàn lára ẹni yẹn. Like it just simply means that if you never played with toys as a child, you will likely be obsessed with material things later in your life. That's just what it's trying to say. If you grow up in wealth, even if you lose it later in life, you will never be a slave to money. Like me, for example, me, I like money. Everybody around me knows I like money. Money is my game. You cannot say you want us to be friends and there is no worry if you're not trying to uplift each other, because at the end of the day, when you uplift each other is what money, you are financially secure. But those who know me, right? If you don't get, but let's just go back to the point now. But those people that they come into wealth suddenly, like maybe through hard work. Yes, hard work leads to correct money too, or luck. They tend to feel very defensive when it comes to money. They feel that they need to prove themselves, and they always develop this inferiority complex over those who had financial stability from the start. And this is why you see some people, like both men and women, who come from poor background and marry a woman or man from wealth. They still want to hold on to money for their dear life. Like you now start seeing the man who suddenly start making money and is married to a woman who came from money. He now start misbehaving, like because now he's in money, he can do whatever he wants to do, disregard his wife and all of that stuff. But they are just afraid of ever going back to where they started, because unless because they just want to hold on to it like their dear life. Now, if they want to change, that means they've consciously work on detaching, they are separating themselves, their self-worth from money. Because now, if they detach themselves, they will always have control over it. They are not going to be controlled by it. So I just feel like me coming on here is really, really important for people to understand the dynamics of money, because again, money past money. I just want people to understand that when people say things sometimes, it's not because They're smart. Don't let others dictate your financial reality for you, because at the end of the day, your financial journey is your own. You don't need to be toxic about it. You don't need to have misguided. You don't need toxic masculinity. You don't have misguided feminism. All of a sudden, you're a feminist. You don't have to be that. Or all these internet gurus start dictating how you should see money, how you see money, because you have to understand that your values, your experiences, and your struggles are unique and tailored to you. No matter how financially insecure you are or financial power, it's tailored to who you are. So the way you approach finances should reflect what really matters to you, because to some, money is a source of pride. To others, it's comfort. To some, self, it is stressful. Hey, God, I don't want money to be stressful to me or for me. And for some, it's a source of shame. So how you see money is personal, and that's exactly why you must define your financial power for yourself. And don't let anyone tell you how to define yourself. So here is my advice for people who tend to be followers of social media gurus or things that they say. I want you to understand that the context of these people really matters, because someone is rich doesn't mean their advice applies to you. Their journey, the financial journey, is different from yours. And please, just because someone is wealthy does not mean they have wisdom. Financial power can make people overconfident, and not all advice from rich people is smart or ethical. Ask Dangote. I'm sure Dangote has given people advices that will not really apply to them, or $10, or what's this guy's name? Cuban, Mark Cuban. I love him. So don't compare your journey, because many successful people had wealth. They have that push, and that is what our generation is trying to do for our kids. So they had wealth from family, so they have inside connection. My clique, my network can bring me connection, can bring me wealth, and my path is unique, because it's different, because I'm different. And then you also understand that money amplifies, it does not transform. So when they say money change, no, a wealthy person's arrogance, or their biases, or their rhetoric, or their toxicity, it I know it existed way before money. It's just louder. That's why they always say, "Oh, money, you have to tell you about low." So I think it's just important for you to think very out of the box, think critically, before applying financial advice. You have to ask, does this align to my values, my goals, my reality? Does this relationship advice, this man advice, this woman advice, does it apply to my reality? Because you have to understand that some people gain wealth through unethical means. So you have to be careful who you idolize. So financial power can also be very, very manipulative. People that are in power, they often push this narrative of, how narrative that will benefit them, really. So just be careful, and just be stay aware, and know that your worth is not your wallet. What you have is not your wallet. And yes, me, I like money. I don't think it's my worth. It's just because I want to be able to afford certain things. So at the same time, don't let, and that's the reason why I work hard. There's no shame in my own game. I can be doing my IT work today. If anything happens, I can pick up Amazon Flex and start delivering, because I like money. So don't let wealthy people make you feel lesser, because financial stability is a journey and is not a competition with people. Money should bring security and freedom, but not control and toxic behavior over other people. And remember, you have to build your own financial power on your own terms. Don't rush, and just base your own terms. Make sure you lay a foundation for what matters to you, not by what social gurus are saying, what social media is saying, what you see on social media, or what rich people say. So ultimately, you have to stay focused on your growth, not be someone else's flex. Okay, and stay real with yourself. Today's podcast was quite long, but thank you so much for listening through. Till I see you next time on Letting You Speak. Thank you, and adios. Bye.